Boom! Salutations. I hope this finds you in good health. I want to say I am not a physicist, all right? But something happened to me, all right? And I've tried to, not just when you're in the environment, you're getting a lot of information coming through when you're dealing with the beings, when your environment, the ship itself, you're getting a lot of information. And I spent a lifetime researching what happened to me. And then also I still get information now. It may not always be the spaceships I see, but I still get information that we could say is star being type of information. So what I'm going to do is try, as not being a physicist, breaking this down in a way that anyone can understand, I can understand, anyone can understand. But I'm saying I've made a plea to scientists before that what I'm talking about is serious. Something happened to me. I've tried to understand it. And I'm sure a real physicist could take this and run with it and say much more, smoke me 1,000 times more. But what I'm saying is serious, and the science behind it is strong. All right, this involves one of the first experience I had with the organic craft, the organic craft, I've called it, right here. All right, so that's one you've seen before, and I won't go into that, but it's the one that actually changed into the quasi-crystal ship that you've seen before that wind up being like this. But what this has to do scientifically is something that's called an electron hole, which basically simply is like a quasi-particle that makes an electron disappear. And it can happen with the valence type of thing, and that's basically what this is. But what I believe happens as far as this ship and as far as propulsion, all right, and what we've talked about before, which is on the top of this craft, is this thing that I call a directional emitter, is what it's called, all right? And what this did is actually, at first I know it functions also as the same frequency as brain waves. Because I've told you before, this light was going around, it was rotating around and around, and each time it came towards me, it was woo, woo was things like it was tuning me in. Now I can tell you that that was a brainwave thing. And how much of this do we experience with other beings and during these phenomenons are just not conscious events, but also brain related. Like how the Makos function as brainwaves too. Quite interesting, alright? So anyway, this directional emitter, and I've got another video on this channel. Go to the playlist, UFO Technologies, and look at the one that's called directional emitter. I talked that for about 10 minutes or so. Anyway, what they do as far as propulsion goes, and this electron propulsion, all right, and what I believe these craft are doing is opening up an electron hole and then slipping in, bringing the space to them, wrapping it around them, and then going into another dimension, another universe, into a wormhole, into these things. So the question is, how do they actually open the micro wormhole? How do they open the aperture that goes into the other universe? Okay, so that's a question, and that's what I believe this is what they're doing with this directional emitter. Okay, it emits a type of a plasma, high energy plasma beam, okay, that causes the electron hole to appear in a section of space, an area of space. And then that's when they can apply something that is similar to what our science now is calling Alcubierre warp drive. And I'll put some pictures of that up. And what that does actually is more bringing the fabric of space around the craft itself. And you know, I want to say this because there's things like when I had talked to Rudy Shields, he took one of our many conversations, he took an interest in this craft. And something he asked is that when it had morphed, okay, which I've talked about before, I'm not going to go through that again. There's so many videos on this channel about this craft and the morphing of it. And when it turned into this, what the Keys of Enoch book calls Tri-Pyramidal Merkaba, all right? And when I got my other copy of that in Vegas, when I was presenting in Vegas, so was J.J. Hertak. I sat down at his booth and I got another copy and had him autograph it. And you know, I asked him about that. I asked him, how did you see this and that? And he was saying the Merkaba was one I asked. He said he was there, taking the planet where some of these were made. He saw them there. So then when I told him, I said I'd seen the Tri-Pyramidal Merkaba, my goodness, was he paying 100% attention to what I was saying. We had a good communication. It was very interesting. Anyway, going forward, this right here, what Rudy Shields had asked me is, you know, he was after seeing this, he said, how did it end? How did the ship leave? And I was like, well, you know, exactly didn't. It was moving and rotating kind of in the sky, and then it just finally, the lights just went out. It's like somebody flipped a switch. The light went out. This thing was illuminated. The lights went out, and then I could just see it still orbiting or moving still slightly, and it looked like a black shadow, more or less, like the silhouette of it. Okay, and then that just disappeared. So in that way, it never actually left. And we're on the phone. He started yelling. He goes, "That's it. That's exactly what you should have said. Exactly what you should have said." I'm like, well, what do you mean? You know, he's a pretty big scientist, and he's not an experiencer. He's a scientist. And he was interested, especially from the quantum aspects of this. He said that's what it should have done as the quantum hologram. When it was over, we were seeing the quantum hologram, that silhouette, and then it went to its destination. Now remember, okay, this thing actually, what it was doing, when it first looked like this and it morphed into this other craft, I've told you before, what it was doing was changing its pattern configuration to the destination, for its destination it's about to go to in another universe. So you're seeing a pattern of unfoldment to match the destination it's going into in another dimension. Another universe is what it turns out to be. Anyway, so that's and when seeing that, okay, so when seeing that, what they're doing with this plasma beam is using that to open up this electron hole, all right? And at that point, that's when you actually are seeing the non-locality aspects of this. And when the ship actually appears to be in two places at once, which is like what the quantum hologram is. That's the other aspect of this. You're getting quantum entanglement, all right? Then they're actually generating not just quantum entanglement, but non-locality. And when they go and use this electron hole, it creates the quantum hologram on the surface of it, okay, which is why a lot of these times these ships will appear like there's just one ship there, then you'll see two, then there's one, and they're gone. It's because they're gone through this aperture, all right, and I believe that that's what we're dealing with, is this electron hole, and that's just one aspect of what they're doing. And when you look deeply into this, this electron hole is connected to plasma, connected to high energy plasma. So look that up and start just putting these things together. I'm going to go over this real quick and make sure I told you everything I want to try to say. I get excited during these sometimes, but this is very, very valid information that you can look up for yourself. Look at the pictures I put up at the beginning and the end. I try to even explain things in a way that goes chronologically with the pictures you've seen. So please subscribe. Please ring the bell. Please share this video. I appreciate everybody on Patreon, is why I'm here. They're the ones that are paying for these videos, all right? And I appreciate all the positive comments I've gotten on YouTube asking me to keep making videos, and people saying that some of these videos are helping them. So thank you very much. I'm very much appreciative of that. I hit everything on that I think you need to know. Just how the electron hole connects to the other universe, how it connects to the portal, and how it connects to the plasma, and all these things together, all right? And I would say, a real physicist, please take this serious. I've seen something happened to me, all right? So whether it be positive or negative, it's positive, but still, it's serious. I appeal to the people that science, this is real. So, peace. Something else is the Fermi bubbles, all right? We have to deal with also the area of space that they're using and the type of space they're using for propulsion. And one of them will be the Fermi bubbles that I explained in a whole nother video. Please check that one out, Fermi bubbles on this channel, and UFO propulsion. But that actually is the gamma rays that are outside of a galaxy that actually connects all the galaxies. So when you want to use something like this Alcubierre warp drive and this actually electron cloud or electron hole, how they're accessing that could be something in the space of like Fermi bubbles. In that track of Fermi bubbles, it's like this highway of the universe is what that is. So I just want to throw that in, and it's very important. That's why you see the Fermi bubbles up there on the pictures. Thank you and peace.